Welcome to Bachelor at IAIK and Introduction to Scientific Working and the Bachelor Project, and of course the award ceremony for the best students, the most successful students in terms of research output from the last year. Today we will talk about Is the echo gone now? Is the echo gone now? Ah, the echo is gone now. Sorry, I just realized where the echo was coming from. Echo should be gone now, I think. Yeah, sorry for the start. Okay, so today, of course, I'm not alone here in this presentation. So let me welcome directly in the stream Stefan Mangard. Hello, Stefan.
Hi, Daniel. Are you there?
Yeah, I can see you. Hi. This direction. Okay, yeah, so we are going to talk about Bachelor at IAIK, and you're the head of the institute. So what is your view of this institute? What is the role of this institute?
Well, I guess most of the students that are in the stream now today already know what we are doing. So we are mostly working on security and most of the aspects around that. And for us today is an important event due to the fact that many of you that are in the stream, so you're in the middle or towards the end of your bachelor studies, and you're getting into more and more specialized courses where you actually can select what you want to do. And somehow we would like to connect you to the research that we are doing, because let's say we have a broad range of topics that we can offer. And today we would like to use the opportunity to somehow connect you to potentially interesting topics.
And interesting topics, we are talking about topics here that are very, very close to real science that we are doing also ourselves. So the PhD students at our institute, the researchers, we integrate you into the research that we do here as a team. And speaking of that, for many students, this works very, very well. And we have a number of awards that we hand out this year, right?
Exactly. So this is actually the next point on the agenda. So I have a lot of awards piling up on my desk. Usually I would give them to the people directly. So we have to find a mode of handing over them. So I hope that the university will not turn red immediately, but I'm afraid it will happen soon. But we will find hopefully a way of getting the awards to the people.
Very good. So should we start right away with the first student?
Maybe I also wanted to add something at the beginning, because some people might be confused what we actually want to do today and what the format today is. Just to give you an idea, so today in the stream we expect that, or we assume that there are people that are interested in three courses that we offer at the institute. So we have this course, Introduction to Scientific Writing. We offer bachelor's projects and we offer bachelor thesis. And we decided to put all this into one kickoff event. So why did we decide to do that? So we decided to do that because in all these fields, you essentially need to select a topic by yourself, right? So this is not an event where we say everybody needs to do this or that topic. All these three courses are things where you as a student need to select what you want to do. And today is really the goal to, independent of whether you want to do Introduction to Scientific Writing, whether you want to do a bachelor's project or a thesis, we just want to get you together to people that do stuff that you find hopefully interesting, and to connect you to people that would then potentially supervise you in Introduction to Scientific Writing, or in a bachelor's project, or in a thesis. So that's the goal and the format of today. So
we will talk a bit more about the technical and the administrative aspects of this later, but we will try to keep it short and keep the presentation interesting. So let's start right away with topics from the previous year that students worked on that led to publications at conferences. So the first award goes out to Lukas Raab. Let's have some applause here.
I'm not sure if you can manage to put in applause, but what I can provide is so this is going to go to Lucas, right? So this is, I would usually hand this over now, and like last year we have some headsets for you. So this is also in pandemic times, this might still be helpful. So this package is for you, Lucas, for being part of a paper that was published last year or this year actually at a workshop in Italy, right?
Yeah, it was a paper that we have been working on for a long time, and Lucas has contributed there in showing how these rowhammer faults can be induced and exploited. Very good work.
And the cool stuff is there was actually a second Lucas on the
Yes, directly the next one, and that is Lucas Lamster.
Another one.
Applause here.
Here we go. And so this is a different set of headphones, so you also get them. All right. So by the way, this is not the last Lucas of the day. So Lucas is, so if you're named Lucas, this is a good chance of getting an award, it seems.
Very good. Okay. And with that, we would get to the next student. This was not a bachelor's thesis, but a master's project. Florian Kagel, for context, this was a paper trying to defend against specter attacks, and Florian contributed to this paper and now is a co-author on this very good top-tier paper. So let's have an applause again.
Here is again the package. So by the way, so for all people that get an award, so please get in contact with our administration. So the doors are currently locked, so you have to have somebody unlock the door. You can come in and we will hand you over the award. Of course, we will do this in a COVID-conform way. So we will place the award, you can pick it, and there will be no handshake.
Okay, perfect. So let me, that was my mouse. I have to quickly pick up the mouse again because otherwise I can't click anything anymore. So let's move on to the next award. This would go to Martin Haubenweiner, and Martin worked with us on a paper on KSLR, basically breaking it and then repairing it. So let's have an applause for Martin. Very good thesis.
Excellent work. So all the events, all the paper events this year were virtual events. So like the event we had this year, like the Bachelor at IAIK this year.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure whether the applause is working because I don't hear it myself, but I hope it's working because these works all deserve an applause.
Yeah, so we definitely have to release. I can.
Okay, so applause works. That's good to hear. So let's continue with the next one. The next one is was a master's thesis, which also led to a scientific publication. And this was Vedat Hadzic. And Vedat is now also a PhD student at our institute. So yeah, this was a good catch for us, getting the best students that already have experience with publishing papers.
Yeah, and Vedat will actually also be part of the presentations afterwards, right? So
oh yes. So let's have an applause for Vedat also as well. Perfect.
Okay. Then
and now we are getting to the next group. This is not from my, not related to my group anymore. So I'm a bit less aware of the technical details here, but you can see that this was at a top tier conference, CCS. This is a really, really good conference. And Lucas was one author of this paper here.
Yeah. So the paper will actually be presented next week, or it's end of November then. So it will be next month when these papers will be presented. Also a virtual event, usually planned for Florida, I think.
Very good, very good. So let's have some applause, or we already had some applause, but you can never have enough applause. And then we get to, I think, the last person in our list, and this would be Stefan Gruber, and he gets an award for his master's thesis, which was also published. Parts of this master's thesis led to a publication, to a paper that we published. So one applause for Stefan Gruber. And I think we can have an extra long applause here for Stefan because we directly continue because he also contributed to another paper.
Exactly. So this is an award for 2 papers.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Very good. And with that, I would like to welcome another person in the stream. Let me invite Maria Eichelseder into the stream. Hello, Maria.
Hi there.
And Stefan, is it okay if we just move you into the background for some time?
Yeah, sure. I will get back for the systems part later on.
Okay, perfect. So now we will go to the more administrative part. Maria, you prepared some slides for that, I've heard. So
that's true, but unfortunately, you're the one who has to click through them.
Oh yeah, I have to click through them, but that's fine. So the general structure, Stefan already mentioned that, is that we have 3 courses that we are kicking off today. Introduction to Scientific Working, the Bachelor Project, and the Bachelor's Thesis. And you can, for all of these topics, you will work on a scientific topic, on a scientific question. And you can.
The idea is that you can
combine them if you like.
Or combine them. And we, of course, recommend that you do all of them on the same topic with the same supervisor, because this way you will have the most immersive experience and take the most away from your topic, and also hit 3 flies in one go.
Yeah, but in total, this will be a lot of working hours, I guess. I mean, I saw you prepared an overview here.
Yeah, I was myself surprised how complicated the rules actually are, depending on what you're studying. So we cannot just offer one bachelor thesis and that's it. But depending on which degree program you're in, and depending on whether you're in the old curricula, so before 2019, or in the new ones, you get a bunch of choices. So in some cases you can take more additional optional subjects, in some cases you can't, and you get different amounts of ECTS for them. So I have the big picture in the bottom row here. So if you're studying information and computer engineering, you can do something between 8 and 10 ECTS with us. For computer science, 7 to 16 in the new curriculum, same in software engineering, and 14 ECTS in the old one. In all of the listed degree programs, you can also just do Introduction to Scientific Working, which is 2 ECTS.
But I can also just do, for instance, a project or just a thesis if I like, right?
Yeah, of course. So you're free to do it independently, but I guess it will be more work for you overall if you pick a separate supervisor and a separate topic for each one. So we would definitely recommend picking the same one.
Yeah, because you have to acquire the background for the different topics then,
Exactly. The Introduction to Scientific Working is, of course, also a good idea to just test out whether a particular topic is the right one for you. So it's like a no-risk investment. So you can start doing a topic in ISW, and if you find out surprisingly or unexpectedly that you don't like it that much, or that there is a different area you want to focus on, you can also switch afterwards. But I guess most of you will be happy with what they picked and have already learned quite a bit about it.
Maria, I see there is a question in the chat down there.
If you're in the old curriculum, can you only do the 14 ECTS thesis? As far as I'm aware, yes. So I think there is something like ISW in the old curriculum, like Verfassen wissenschaftliche Arbeiten. But I couldn't find out whether we as an institute are assigned to this course, so whether we can actually put out grades for that. But this is a good question that I can also try to dig into afterwards.
Maybe I leave some more room for question here. So
yeah, so there is some discussion going on. Let me just read what's going on here. So there is some advice a question from Ferdi. Can you do ISW and get Einführung in das wissenschaftliche Arbeiten? Yes. So I think these should be equivalent, but I will be sure to check that afterwards. Do you know how many ECTS you would get for Einführung in das wissenschaftliche Arbeiten?
Difficult questions, and I think it would be an idea to take these questions offline or ask them later in the Discord.
Maybe we also need
more.
to ask the Dean of Studies about that.
Yeah. So I would suggest to continue. So I mean, now we know how many. This direction. Now we know how many ECTS this is, but how does that translate to what we actually have to do? Maybe we quickly go through that as well. So in Introduction to Scientific Working, we expect you to produce a short review of the literature. So you will have to write something. In the project, this will be maybe more focused on experimental work or implementation work, and the thesis will have both an implementation part and a writing part. But overall, it makes sense if you take multiple of these courses to combine them in a useful way, so that you have one topic and you can work on this topic and have experiments, implementation, and some documentation, some write-up for the entire topic. Okay, maybe let's go to the next slide here. What we provide you with is a real-world research experience. This is what you get. You have seen that with the awards. Those were all cases where students have worked with us on actual research questions, and they contributed to these papers similar as, probably not to the same amount, but basically in a similar way to a full-time researcher at our institute. Just you do this maybe part-time or maybe only for a few weeks. And of course, the full-time researchers have more experience. But this is the advantage. You're working in a team. So these full-time researchers, they will help you in advancing your own research. So you will be part of a team. You discover new knowledge together with the team. We also provide you assistance in terms of writing lab and a presentation lab, so where you will learn how to write and how to present your scientific work. And you also will, of course, have the direct supervisor support, where the supervisor will check the text that you wrote, the experiments that you've done, or discuss with you exactly what experiments would make sense, what implementations would make sense. This will help you to find your way through this project. On the next slide, we have a bit more overview of what to do. So the deliverables. I already mentioned that for Introduction to Scientific Working, there will be something to write. For the Bachelor's Project, it's more on the code side. And for the thesis, it's basically both. But Maria, you've written down here the exact deliverables.
Yes, indeed. So our idea is for Introduction to Scientific Working that you get a first insight into how to do research and how to write about it and how to present it. So these are our main goals. So as an output, you will demonstrate exactly what you learned. So you will write something and you will present something. And of course, we will provide you feedback along the way. So the idea is that here you dig into some of the background literature for your favorite topic. And your final deliverables will consist of, on the one hand, a short written report to test your writing skills, so about 4 to 5 pure text pages. And in the end, in January, you will also give us a short presentation of about 5 minutes and receive feedback both before and after that. Mm-hmm. For the Bachelor Project, the idea is that you work practically a lot. So there is no real formal deliverable for this one here, but of course, we expect you to work on some project and to also hand over this project in the end to us with appropriate documentation in some form. So this could be that you write some manual or guidance how to use the project, and or you describe your practical results in a text report. So this will depend a lot on which project exactly you pick. If you combine the project with your thesis, the most logical thing is that you also describe your project in detail in the final thesis text. Mm-hmm. And so for the thesis, you have several similar deliverables or similar types as an introduction to scientific working, but of course a lot bigger. So here, the idea is that you really give us a full demonstration of your research capabilities that you've picked up in the months that you've been working on it. So you will write a final thesis together with your supervisor or advised by your supervisor, where the length of the thesis will depend, of course, on how many ECTS you want to get for it. So a rule of thumb, which is of course not precise, but gives you some orientation, is that the final thesis will typically be approximately 2 times the number of ECTS you get for it. So for example,
if I work on a topic for something like the full 16 ECTS, the expectation would be
a bit above 30 pages.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And
Whereas
if I work on only the bachelor's thesis for 7 ECTS,
yeah, then 14 pages or so should be enough. Where pages always refers to the actual text, so from introduction to conclusion. And of course, you will also present your results so that other people hear about it. So the idea here is that all of you who are participating can also listen to the other people's projects, because many of those will have very exciting results. So we plan to have a final presentation slot in June, where many of you will probably present, but you're also free to do this at another time. So one important thing to keep in mind here is that ISW is the only one of these with a fixed schedule and with a fixed end, whereas for the rest we do have recommendations, and we will show you the schedule in a moment, but you're free to be faster or slower depending on your needs.
I have one more question here. If I work, for instance, on this introduction to scientific working and the bachelor project, and now I already have some text written there, would that count to the total number of pages? So can I include this text in the full document?
The idea is, of course, that you produce something useful in ISW. So ideally, you could also use this directly as part of your background section.
Then it totally makes sense to me.
Yeah. Of course, there's one thing that was maybe not so clear in my explanations. Not only the number of pages scales with your ECTS, but of course also the size of the project.
Yeah.
So we will do our best
you have to write
to scale and adapt the project for your specific needs. So you will see that for each of the topics we offer, we have one big description that gives the general idea, but we will then find out which of the course models you want to do and try to scale it appropriately. So maybe add some extra questions or remove some challenges or questions. And of course, you also get a separate grade for each of these. So you get the grade for Introduction to Scientific Working in January, when the course is complete. And for the project and for the thesis, you will get graded whenever you are ready.
Okay. Yeah. I think this part is mostly clear. I think what we basically say here is these are 3 independent lectures, and of course you can do them on the same topic and then combine that and have one document in the end that concludes everything. But of course, Introduction to Scientific Working will be graded before this one is finished and before this one is finished. So you will get separate grades. So you also need to separately deliver at least parts of the work on this topic already. So there is a clear deliverable for each of these courses separately as well. But you can continue working on the same topic. That's basically the thing we want to tell you here. Here's the timeline. So we start off on October 29. That sounds like it's pretty soon, right?
That is actually today.
Okay. Yeah, we are right here. Right. Okay. That's the kickoff and presentation of topics. Presentation of topics, we haven't seen that yet. Then for the writing lab, that would be on November 9, and it would be online. And this is also the topic registration deadline for ISW. So that means you need to decide on a topic within that's like 10 days only. Oh no. So you need to find a topic today. And then,
well, at least you should pick a supervisor today that you're planning to contact, and then you can discuss with them to see whether it's the best match for you. And of course, you can still adapt in the next 1.5 weeks or so.
Also, if the supervisor tweaks the topic in one or the other direction, then this should also be fine. Then after that, we have in November, December, basically the time to work on the document for ISW with your supervisor. So you will get feedback from your supervisor. The supervisor will make sure that everything is written in a way that you can later on use it for a potential thesis, so that it is written properly at a good technical level. And after that, ISW only has the remaining part, which is concluding this course with the seminar presentation. That means your document is finished. You present what you did, the work that you did on January 25, and then you get your grade for ISW, and then ISW is concluded. For the project and the thesis, we then continue after that. Maria, I see we have 2 working blocks here.
Yeah, indeed. So this is, of course, the plan, hoping that Corona will be gone by then. So what we usually did is that we had 2 intensive working blocks where we invite you to the institute, where you get an office right next to your supervisor or nearby, and where you can focus full-time on working on your thesis to get you started really quickly and efficiently. These are usually planned so that they don't interfere with your other courses. So in the last week of the holidays, the term holidays, as well as during the Easter holidays. This year, we might, of course, have to adapt a bit and maybe, unfortunately, move this to the home office, but we still try to make them efficient working blocks. So, for example, you will often have meetings with your supervisor in a virtual way.
Yeah, and maybe we can also arrange something like Discord office rooms.
Yeah, that would be a great
hang
idea.
Out.
Yeah, it's also easier for you if several of your colleagues are also working on similar topics at the same time, because there is a lot that you can benefit from each other. And after these 2 working blocks, we have another input for you, namely the presentation lab, Daniel.
Yeah, this is exciting. I really like the presentation lab. We do really crazy things. We basically, so this is what we do if Corona is no problem until then anymore. We show you how to present in a lecture hall, how to give a scientific presentation, how to go through Q&A sessions, even if you don't know all the answers, how to prepare for these sessions in a good way, and how to structure presentations, how to use your voice in a lecture hall. All of these things will be covered in the presentation lab, so it will be a lot of fun, I guess. If it's online, I'm actually quite unsure what exactly we will do, because many of the skills that we practice offline, we can't apply directly online. So if it still has to be online, we will focus more on online presentation skills, which can be very valuable these days.
And we can also go into how to structure a presentation,
of course,
etc.
And then the thesis and project are concluded in June with the thesis presentation. The project presentation might already be in between if you conclude the project already. And then if everything goes as planned, then the thesis would be concluded in June, and we have the bachelor thesis defense there, and then you're done.
Yes, that's the idea.
Okay, that sounds very good. So what are the next steps? Next steps, especially for ISW. Select a topic. You need to contact the supervisors to discuss your plans, and you can do that directly after this YouTube stream via the Discord. You will find a link in the chat. Unfortunately, I've posted a link somewhere that is not valid anymore. If you can't find a valid link, just send me an email. I will give you a new invite link.
I also put the link on the ISW website. So if you go to IAIK/ESW, then you will find both the Discord and the YouTube link there. But I guess you already have the YouTube link.
Yeah. And then you need to send a confirmation email until November 9 to Maria Eichelseder. You have the email address there. CC your supervisor, and you should write into the subject that it's topic registration for ISW. Yeah.
And you can tell us whether you already know, if you plan to do a project, if you plan to do a thesis, and so on. If you're not sure yet, of course, you can adapt your plan. So this is not totally done in stone, but we're always flexible. Okay,
and with this, we are basically done with the more administrative part, and we finally get to the interesting part, the topics, the research areas. And for this, I will ask, let me check, let me find where Stefan is. Here's Stefan. Hello, Stefan. I added you back into the stream. And for the first research area, we have 4 different research areas. The first one is system security. And here we are wondering about the security of systems. If you are using, for instance, some online banking, there are, of course, many layers of security involved. But at a very low level, we have the system security. And there are 2 teams in the system security group. I will also invite Claudio from my team into the stream, and I will move the chat up here. Hello, Claudio. Hi, Stefan. Welcome back. So, system security. What is system security about? Why do we, or why should students be interested in particular in this topic?
Well, maybe it's the easiest to state a little bit of what we do and our goals are. So why we think it's interesting. So we hope that we find many students that also think that this is a fascinating topic. I mean, in a nutshell, it's quite easy to describe. So if you look at the newspapers, you see that everything gets broken once in a while, right? So it's one attack after the other. And our main goal is, on the one side, to find out why this is happening. And on the other hand, of course, to build secure systems. Our ultimate goal is to build systems that you can't break that easily as the systems that are broken today. And
so it's about countermeasures.
Exactly. It's about securing systems. It's about finding other ways of building hardware and software than we build it today in order to make it more secure, right? It's our main research path that we are following. And this means that whenever you do a thesis or you do research in that area, you need to be interested in, let's say, building stuff, right? In building, let's say, secure crypto implementations, in working with hardware, in working with operating systems, in terms of digging into stuff, right? Understand what are the weaknesses there, how can we prevent attack, and so on.
So Claudio, you also have announced topics in this area. Are they also related to operating systems? I also see terms like sandboxing up there.
Yes, so we have quite a few different topics, but contrary to like Stefan's group, we are also interested in attacking those things. So we also attack operating systems, we attack hardware and so on. And based on these insights that we gain via these attacks, we also build defenses. So we try to mitigate attacks using sandboxes. We enhance the operating system with new functionality to prevent them, and so on. So we are very interested in low-level attacks as well, fault attacks, and pretty much everything that is microarchitectural.
You're mostly talking about attacks on a software level, I guess?
Yes, so most of our attacks are purely based on software. We don't need additional hardware or anything, or we at least try to minimize the additional hardware that we need. We just want to use what is already given by the hardware that we have in our in our computers.
So Stefan, in your group, you also do a lot of software-based attacks, but you also have a focus on hardware, right?
Exactly. So this is what I wanted to mention. So whenever you're interested in also touching hardware, so maybe the ICE students are interested in that, but also computer science students, whenever you like courses like Rechnerorganisation or computer organization. So the stuff is, there is a lot of interesting stuff currently going on in also modifying the underlying hardware of the systems that we currently use. And in our group, we also do all kinds of attacks on the hardware level. So let's say you're using an oscilloscope to do a power measurement of a chip and determine the key that is in there, or you do a fault induction by physically inducing a glitch into a system. So this is all stuff that you can play with in our group. Maybe also to give you a little bit more of an orientation, I was giving just a big picture in the first place. So we have later on in the chat, we have actually 3 areas that from our group that might be interesting to students that are in the stream right now. So one specific thing is everything that is related about implementing crypto securely. Whenever you think it's nice to implement a cryptographic algorithm, harden this implementation, play with the algorithms. So this is something that we offer in the group. Yeah. If you're interested in and in this case, you should actually look out for Robert Primas. I already dropped this name right now. So Robert is the name you have to look for later on in Discord. Mm-hmm. And if you want to go for hardware, you have to look for another Robert, which is Robert Schilling. So maybe also note that down. So Robert Schilling is the one in the Discord that will be available for everything that is related to hardware and also on the software side that is related to compiler. If you want to play with compilers for security, that will be Robert.
Yeah, but you can also go into one of our Discord's channels later, and we will point you to the right person or directly move you into the right room if you are searching for another person. So protecting algorithms, so you would, for instance, I see the keyword post-quantum crypto there. I think this is a word that has been used for advertisement a lot lately. I've also seen other words that have been used for, let's say, advertisement, like Spectre, zombie load, meltdown. Claudio, if you, these are names from the Corsair group, right? So do you have to come up with fancy names to work in this group?
Well, based on my experience, it feels like we definitely need to come up with these names. So I would say we're also a little bit the PR department. And it's also one of your passions, I would say, to come up with fancy names. And yeah, if you do a bachelor thesis with us and you have a nice idea that turns into a nice attack, and you have a nice name for it, then perfect. Yeah, we are always fine with that.
That sounds very good. Let me thank you, Claudio, and thank you, Stefan, for joining me here. I would like to move to the next topic, which is formal methods. And for that, I will switch to the next guests in the stream. So let's have a quick applause. Thank you for joining in the stream. Oh, does it work? Okay. And for the formal methods, I will invite Vedat into the stream, who just received an award earlier, so congratulations again for that. And also Bettina Könighofer will also appear in the stream in a second. I don't see her yet. I don't see, so we don't see you yet, so I'm not sure the camera is running, but
camera is running and you should also hear me.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can hear you, and I can also see you.
Okay.
I can see her on the Jitsi.
I can also see me at Jitsi, so.
Just refresh, then we will see you. Anyway, Vedat, so formal methods. We just heard about system security, and this is about making the system secure, the hardware secure, securing all the things. And formal methods takes a different approach, right?
Yes, it's similar, but
different.
more rigorous. In a sense, when someone builds a system, formal methods can be used to prove mathematically prove that the system is actually secure
Okay.
in the given model, in the given threat model that you perceive.
So you could make a proof over some code that I write and then make sure that it doesn't contain any bugs?
Yes, as long as you can specify what the bugs are. So if you have a
specification,
if you have a specification of what your program is supposed to do, then you can automatically with some annotations that the programmer does manually, and afterwards automatically prove that the thing that you said your program should do is actually done by the program.
So this is a lot about logic and verification.
Yeah,
Yes.
so formal methods very general. So in our areas, everything that helps engineers to develop correct systems. So this can be hardware and software. And so this basically covers everything from testing, from model checking, from synthesis. So, and then you can apply it to different areas. So Vera just mentioned security. You can also apply it to other areas like machine learning, where you say you have a learned system and you want to show that it's correct.
So I see some terms here on this word cloud fault attack and side channel, for instance, that we've also seen for system security.
Yes.
So what is the connection there?
The connection is actually really interesting. So I have some background in security, let's say, and we came up with this idea that you can, like, Stefan's group does a lot of hardware attacks, and you can formalize them really well, which means that in the end, you can prove resistance to those attacks.
So in the best case, you would then prove that everything is secure and make the analysis work that we do completely superfluous.
Well, yes, as long as as the proof is inside of the model that you have.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, the thing is that you first need to have some kind of formal model of what is going on, but ideally you can prove that the system is resistant, for example, against side channel attacks of a given kind. So for example, if someone is able to measure the power consumption of a chip on some given part of the chip, you can prove that they are not able to reconstruct any information that has been processed by the chip. That's what I am doing right now.
Bettina, what do you think? What should students bring in when they want to do a bachelor thesis or work on ISW in this area? I see terms here like SMT and SAT that like they are quite big on this slide here. What do they mean?
So in your bachelor studies, you should have had logic and commutability.
Okay.
We've already covered a little bit of SAT solvers and T solvers. And if you found that stuff interesting, then formal methods is a good fit for you. And then basically it doesn't matter if you apply it for security or for machine learning. So there's a lot of different techniques that we use in order to ensure that some system is correct.
What if I find games interesting? You have games there on the slide.
Okay, so this is not what you think what a game is.
Oh, okay.
So we use games to automatically synthesize systems. So we say that if you have a formal specification, you can say the environment is evil. So no matter what the environment does, no matter what the evil player does, the system that you automatically create should always satisfy the spec.
Okay.
In this sense, synthesis is a game.
Okay, and I basically play the evil player who tries to find.
No matter what happens in the future, we will always guarantee you that the system that we automatically synthesize satisfies the spec.
Yeah, so in a sense, it's kind of like constructing a system for which you can prove that it's always going to win against the environment, assuming that the environment is evil.
Very good. Are there any further things that students should know about your group?
Bettina?
I think I think they got a good impression. These are very, very nice people. You have seen them laughing, so you can see that they are very nice and friendly. And you should just later on join them in Discord.
Picked out a few topics that came to our mind, but we have way many more ideas for you. So if you're interested in doing something on the formal side, then contact us.
On Discord
also,
later.
Also, I mean, usually I would say come by my office anytime you want, but because of the current situation, it's best if you contact us via email or via the Discord. By the way, since Daniel mentioned games, I have a really interesting topic for a bachelor thesis. It can be actually several bachelor theses, which is about symbolic execution of actual games, meaning that ideally, you can find the optimal input for an actual game, for example, Super Mario Bros. Or whatever, that finishes the game almost automatically using formal methods.
And this is doable for a bachelor student? It sounds very interesting.
It is, yeah. It's not hard to use these tools. It's just hard to come up with something interesting to apply them to.
So there we got it. So it is actually games.
Now I have to fight against Vedas because I also have actual games. So you can take any Atari game or any game that you can learn with reinforcement learning, and you can use SMT solvers to make them safe. So that your Pac-Man, if you play Pac-Man, wins right on the first try when you try to learn it.
Perfect. Thank you for this introduction to your area. So I would like to move to the next topic. Thank you for being here, and let's have a short applause.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
And we directly continue with the next topic, which is cryptography, right? This is the part where we all rely on because whenever you use the internet, basically, you always see this lock symbol, as Maria has shown us in the lecture, and this is cryptography, right? So what is there more in cryptography beyond these lock symbols?
Well, what you're actually interested in is the stuff inside the lock symbol. So all the algorithms that are running in there, how to use them securely, how to implement them securely, and of course, how to design and break them.
So the students will implement algorithms like that, like in the browser?
Well, you don't really implement them in the browser, but we do have topics that are concerned with the implementation of crypto systems. Mm-hmm. For example, implementing ASCON is one of the topics that we offer for different platforms. But we're not only interested in the implementation themselves, but also how to use them securely, of course.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I see a lot. So in this word cloud, I think half of the words have crypt somewhere in them. So it's definitely crypto. Daniel, what is the most relevant part here in this word cloud? What would you say? What would be relevant for students to read up on? We can't hear you. I think you're muted.
I mean, the most general concept is privacy, the topic of privacy overall. So keeping the user information private to yourself so that, for example, we don't have these data leaks that happen all the time in the internet. And of course, we use encryption to protect these things, but also multiple other modern techniques that you maybe not have heard of yet in your bachelor courses. Like multi-party computation or even homomorphic encryption, where you can even operate on encrypted data, which sounds like a very foreign concept.
Mm-hmm. So what I was wondering, so I talk a lot to students, and my impression is that many students are like, oh, cryptology privacy, it's so complicated, and you need to know a lot about math, and it's so advanced. I don't even dare talking to them. What would you say against that?
I mean, I would say you can have it both ways. So you can take a deep dive down if you want and work with the mathematical stuff.
Okay.
But there are also several higher level things you can do with cryptography, applying it to new use cases, implementing them in a secure way, or analyzing them theoretically, which you can involve a lot of math.
So if I'm really uncomfortable with mathematical things, I would still be a good fit for your group?
Of course, if you want to bring your expertise in some other fields like implementation techniques or performance critical stuff, that's also
okay. So performance optimization. So this is more related then to making things run fast on hardware, in hardware?
Yes, that's of course also a goal. You don't want to have, for example, a block cipher, an encryption mechanism that takes 1 hour to encrypt your simple files. You cannot really use that for example, securing your hard disks against attackers, because then if you want to open a file that takes 10 minutes, that's of course not good enough.
And of course, you shouldn't just talk about the runtime on your desktop computer, but also consider scenarios where you need more lightweight solutions. So for example, if you're implementing your ciphers for constraint devices, then you need specialized algorithms for that. And this is something we're working on a lot right now because there is an ongoing competition. And in the context of this competition, there are a lot of things that should be done that are suitable for bachelor thesis as well, such as evaluating the ciphers by different criteria or evaluating the implementations that are available. So there's a lot of things done for a variety of platforms, so to say. And this is also where we have some overlaps with the system security group, of course, because they're also interested in implementing things. So we have some joint topics as well here.
So this is very nice. So all the topics somehow are connected together, all the areas. Thank you for joining me in the stream. I will already move on to the next topic. And of course, if you're interested in this topic, or even if you're unsure whether you dare to go into this area, just talk to them on Discord. They are super kind people. Just talk to them and ask them what their impression is, whether you should work with them on a topic or not. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks.
And let me directly move on. And I welcome Stefan Moore in the stream. And let me see, do I have someone else? Kevin, I also have Kevin here. Welcome, Stefan and Kevin. So you're from the secure applications area. In the secure applications area, what would be the interesting research questions?
Yeah, so we are more on the applied side of the institute. So we take a lot of stuff that happens in the other groups and also outside in the field, and we try to really apply it to the real world. A big question is the field of e-government. That's you maybe have heard of the e-government Innovation Center. We really try to support the Austrian government in terms of e-government, but we also try to support everyone else, because often you have the issue that a programmer who is not an expert in cryptography wants to use cryptography in a program, and then they need a library that's useful, but that's also usable, but it's also secure. And that's also one of our main research focuses, to develop tools for other people so they can create secure software.
Yes, as Stefan said, we are focusing on e-government. E-government generally represents the introduction of concepts and implementation of processes for information and communication between citizens and between the government. And one example would be the citizen card, which ensures authentication in Austria. And we are also currently working on the introduction of an electronic proof of identity, which will supersede the existing citizen card next year in Austria.
I also see terms like hacking on the slide here. Do you actively work on hacking?
Yeah, in the same way in your group, we look at the systems of other people. So software in the real world, for example, Kevin Group looks at real-world e-government applications, but also everything that's security critical, and we look into that if that's secure. But we also work closely with the Institute's student hacking team, Los Fasis. So I think that's the reason why the word hacking is on this slide.
Okay, so this is very interesting. Any final thoughts that you want to give to the students, so that the students will definitely join your Discord channel the first?
Yeah, so from my side, you can join us if you want to apply cryptography to real world use cases, if you want to work on real research. And I don't know, Kevin, if you have something to add.
Yeah, if you're interested in how to uniquely identify a person in Austria, how to make services for citizens more secure, then you can contact me or someone of our research group.
Perfect. Thank you both for joining me in the stream today. And I would say with this, we are already at the end. We now have the Discord link here on the slides, so you can see it here. And if you join the Discord, then you can ask the speakers, but also all the other researchers that are participating in ISW or Bachelor at IAIK. You can ask them directly in the ISW category in Discord. There's a text channel, but there's also a category with a lot of voice channels where you can directly approach these researchers and ask them questions. So at this point, I would like to thank everyone involved, and let's just get everyone in the stream for a second. And this doesn't work anymore. They all turned off their cameras, I guess. So thank you all for joining me in the stream today. And yeah, see you in a second in Discord. Bye.